Hey class, it's Ashley and I'm back with another mentoring moment. And this afternoon, I'm excited to talk to you about inflation. I know not everyone's favorite topic, not a super sexy topic, but the truth is that your salary is worth less than it was 5 years ago. And we're going to break down inflation's impact on your salary and how even if you've been getting incremental raises over the last several years, it's not having the impact that you think it has. And honestly, you're making a lot less money than you maybe were 5 years ago, even if you've been getting incremental raises. The truth is that, inflation is maybe eating up all of the raises that you've been getting, that 2% raise, that 5% raise, that 7% raise, that bonus that you maybe got. It's not as impactful. It's not as meaningful as it would be if inflation wasn't so high and inflation wasn't eating up all of your raises. And too often what I see is that professionals and professional women in particular are staying in roles too long. They're letting these jobs suck the life out of them. They're not making enough money in their industry. And then what ends up happening is that they are like, well, I'll just wait till I get a raise. I'll just wait till I'll get a promotion. They're kind of incrementally being fed, that as soon as strategy. And then they're not really getting the salary increases, the raises, the promotions, the significant salary benefits that they should be getting, giving their expertise, and they're drowning in debt, or they're not being able to save and build wealth as they desire to in their life and career. So today, I'm here to just kind of open your eyes to this idea that inflation is a real thing. And if you're not making enough money in your career and you're waiting on your annual salary increase, that may not be enough to really help you advance your career and advance the amount of money you're making at work in the ways that you desire. So if that sounds like a conversation that you are interested in, if you want to know more about strategies to actually build wealth with your salary and actually make more money and have more impact at work, you are in the right place. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to sort of talk about is, and this live is specifically for those women who are in that, $50,000 to $80,000 annual salary space, right? If you're in that, $50,000 to $80,000 salary space, this video is for you, because that's where I see the largest amount of women who are really stuck in roles where they're being underpaid, right? Maybe you came into this role and you were at the time, $50,000 was like, great. Like, yes, I'm so glad I'm, making $50,000. Or maybe, you're in a role and they offered you 75 and you were like, great, this is a significant salary increase from where I was at. I'm so glad, I made it to this baseline, right? And so maybe you took a role 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and the salary at the time was great. It was, you were really proud of that. It was a increase from where you were. And, maybe at the time you were just grateful to have a job, right? And so, it may be that you took on your current role, and you're in that $50,000 to $80,000 a year. And you're like, I thought this was the best that I could do. I was happy to just get this. And now you're starting to see, particularly over the last couple of years, that like this salary ain't hidden on what it's supposed to hit on. Like, I'm not able to save to buy a home. I'm not able to save to go on longer vacations. I'm not able to get a new car. I'm not able to save for a down payment. I'm not able to do the things that I really desire to do in my life and career with this little level of salary. And I think more and more professional women are starting to see that. Like, maybe they went into their current role thinking like, oh, great, this is good. This is going to give me, enough money to do this or that. But, even as they've grown in the role, maybe they've seen a 2%, a 3%, a 5% salary increase, but with inflation being at 6% and climbing, inflation is eating up your salary increase every single year. And the little bit of money that you may have made in the salary increase is being ate up by inflation. So over time, you end up making less money. A $50,000 salary increase in, 2016 and 2021, just 5 years later, year, you're basically only making $40,000. And that's even if you got a couple raises across the last 5 years. The dollar isn't going as far because the price of gas has increased. The price of housing has increased. The price of a gallon of milk has increased, right? Like everything is increasing. And even if your salary has increased incrementally because everything else is increasing, you're basically losing money on a salary that is no longer covering even the basics, right? Or you're basically surviving. Like all you can do is pay your bills. It ain't no vacation. It ain't no savings. You're one emergency away from like being on a payday loan, right? You're one emergency away from running up your credit card. You're one emergency away from having to borrow money. You're one emergency away from, bankruptcy, right? And that's how so many professional women are living, right? Like extreme paycheck to paycheck. And even those paychecks are not covering as much as they need to. And I know that so many professional women want freedom and flexibility in their budget. They want freedom and flexibility in the amount of money that they're earning. They want to be able to like just have some breathing room in their budget. Like they're so sick of just surviving, just barely making it, just barely covering expenses, right? Like you want to be able to have a budget that actually you can budget. That's not just like filled out in every category and then you at zero every single month. But the truth is that is so hard to acquire for so many professional women because they are literally like the ends and the means are meeting, right? And that's it. There's no room. There's no flexibility. And for so many professional women, you just want flexibility in your budget. And throw some hearts up on the screen if you can relate. Like you're like, at this point, I just want some flexibility in my budget. I just want my budget to not be so tight. I want my budget to not be so restrictive. I want my budget to not be so cramped. You're like, I just wish my budget wasn't so tight. Like, yeah, I'm surviving. I'm able to cover everything. But goodness, like I can't save. I can't go on vacation. I'm literally one emergency away from this whole shit falling apart. And that's not a place you want to be. That's not a good place because that invites so much overwhelm and frustration and anger and nervousness. I mean, it like that experience will overtake your whole day, your whole week, your whole month. If you are literally like making ends meet and that's it, that can be stressful. And I'm not even talking to the women who aren't even making ends meet, who have that maxed out credit card, who are already experiencing an emergency, a financial emergency, a medical emergency that has wiped out any little savings that they did have. And now they're experiencing like extreme, poverty because they're not making enough money at work. I'm really talking to the women who are making a little bit of money at work, but just a little bit, who just aren't making enough money to match their skill set, who aren't making enough money to be able to position themselves for some flexibility in their budget. And I know that one of the reasons why you may be experiencing this is because, 5 years ago, right, in 2016, you were grateful for the $50,000 salary. You were grateful for the $75,000 salary. You were like, oh, I'm at 80K, I'm on, right? But inflation is eating up any salary increase, any little bit of raise that you've gotten. And so that $50,000, that $60,000, that $70,000 salary, what that was doing 5 years ago, it's not doing the same thing now. And in fact, you're making less money now. Even with the raises, it's eating up your entire budget. It's eating up all of the raises because the rate of inflation is rising higher than the salary increases that you might be receiving at your current job. And for most of my mentees, I serve a lot of women who work in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership. And so for most of them, they're seeing 2%, 3%, 5%, 7% salary increases at max. And so they're not seeing salary increases that are even matching inflation, let alone above inflation. And just throw some hearts up on the screen if you can relate. Like, just throw a heart up on the screen if you've gotten a raise in the last 5 years, but basically you can't tell. You're like, yes, I've gotten a raise, Ashley, in the last 5 years, but girl, my budget can't tell. I don't see any more money at the end of the month. I feel like the federal government and taxes is eating up everything, and I don't have any more breathing room in my budget. And it's not because you're not smart. It's not because you're not capable. It's not because you're not doing the work. It's because the rate of inflation is not matching the salary increases that you're seeing at work. And for some of you, maybe you haven't even gotten a raise or promotion in the last 5 years. If you're like, Ashley, in the last 5 years, I haven't even gotten a raise or promotion, right? I haven't even seen any more money. And so for you all, it's even worse because I have some mentees who have been working in jobs in the last 5 years where they have seen a 2%, a 3%, a 5% salary increase. But for some of you, you've been making the same amount of money for years. And you're not seeing any incremental increases. And for you, the impact of inflation is even more impactful because you're basically earning more, you have more years of experience, you have more skill sets, you have more knowledge, and you're not making any more money than you were making 3, 5, 7 years ago. And that is of grave concern to me. Because that means you can't save. That means you can't build an emergency fund. That means you are living paycheck to paycheck, right? And that is, again, of grave concern to me. Because when you're in a position where you can't save, where you can't pay down debt, where you can't go on a vacation, where you can't, have the flexibility in your budget, that's when you get desperate. That's when you get desperate. That's when you start phoning it in at work. That's when you start applying for any job just to get out of here. That's when you start going off on your boss. That's when you start disregarding your coworkers, right? That's when you start acting out of character. You're now ruining your reputation because you're so angry, you're so frustrated, you're so annoyed, you're so overwhelmed with the work. And you're not making any more money. Your budget isn't any more flexible. Right? And all you desire is to have the flexibility to be able to not price check when you go to the grocery store, right? Like at this point, you're like, all I want to do is to be able to book the vacation and, be able to get business class. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even trying to fly first class. I just want to get the business class. I just want to have a little bit more leg room, right? And I know that's where a lot of you are. You're like, I'm just trying to have some flexibility in my budget. But if you are a professional woman in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership who is between the salary ranges of $50,000 to about $80,000 a year, and you're only seeing incremental increases in your salary, if over the last 5 years you've only seen 2%, 3%, 5% salary increases, if that's you, this video is for you because I'm here to turn a red light on over your head and say, sis, you're not making enough money at work. And inflation is eating up any salary increase that you've seen over the last 5 years. And now it's time for you to take strategy into your own hands and get the help that you need to make massive money moves in your career. Because you flat out cannot afford to only make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year anymore. That's not enough money to build wealth. That's not enough money to save. It's not enough money to move to the next level in your career development. And quite honestly, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. I know that many of you know this already. You see your budget like I see your budget, right? You know that you cannot afford to make so little money anymore. So now it's about what do you need to do, or even what do you need to believe is available to you so you can step into a higher level of salary increase and to make more money moves in your career. And I believe, what you need to know is available to you. And this is true of every woman that I've worked with, is that you can use the skills, the talents, the expertise, the knowledge that you already have to make more money in your career. I just, in my story, celebrated one of my mentees, Shauna, and I just posted about her on my feed as well. Shauna just secured a $47,000 salary increase through working with me in the Mentor Me Accelerator. She came to me in a mid-level position in education and was so burnt out and overwhelmed. She was so frustrated with her employer. She didn't feel like they saw her or recognized her for her expertise. And she really wanted to transition and grow in education and secure a higher level, higher paying role where she could have more impact. And I was really encouraging her, Shauna, I'd love to see you, take your skill sets to another industry. I'd love to see you consider other industries. And there was some resistance there, but eventually we got her to consider other industries. And now she's moving on to IT in a project management role where she has secured almost a $50,000 salary increase. And the major thing that Shauna said was a mindset shift for her was the belief that she could do it, that she could use her existing skill set. You know, Shauna didn't have to go get another degree, another certification, another credential to move into IT. And a lot of people believe, well, Ashley, I can't do that because I don't have this and I don't have that. You can use what you already have to get what you want, but only if you have expert level mentorship to teach you how to do that. As a mentor, my job is to help you understand how to use what you already have, to articulate and position what you already have to a higher level of leadership and, of course, a higher salary. Because your current salary is not worth what it used to be. And you know that every time you go to the gas pump, you know that every time you go to the grocery store, you know that every time you try to book a trip, you know that every time you try to save, the money ain't going where it used to go. The dollar ain't stretching how it used to stretch. And so what you now need to believe is that I believe that I can use what I already have to get what I want. And even if you don't believe that, I want to just invite you into mentorship so I can help shift your mindset into that belief, and then we can take action, right? Because once you believe I can use what I already have to get what I want, then I can help you catapult your career and secure the same $47,000, $50,000 salary increase that Shauna was able to secure, leveraging strategies she learned in the Mentor Me Accelerator. It is a powerful experience. And Shauna described it that, like, I didn't even believe I could do this. I didn't even believe that my skill set was this valuable. I didn't know that I was being paid so poorly in my former role. But it was through my mentorship. It was through career coaching. It was through me guiding her in her career development that we were able to have massive transformation. And for her to transition from a role in education where she was being severely underpaid to a role in education or in technology where she's going into a management level role, where they see her value, where they see her expertise, and where they are excited to pay her well for it. And you want someone who's excited to pay you well, not who does it begrudgingly, not who you got to convince, oh, please accept me, please pay me, ooh, I want the job, right? This is not a matter of convincing someone to pay you or begging someone to see you and to see your expertise. This is about you knowing that I know what I'm good at. I know I have expertise. I know I have value. And the value of my expertise, I should be making more than I make right now. Because your salary is not worth what it was 5 years ago. And even if you've been getting incremental increases, it's not enough. It's simply not enough for you to make the type of money that you desire to make and to have the ease in your budget and your finances that you desire to have. And so what I want to invite you into today is to apply to the Mentor Me Accelerator, just like Shauna did, so that we can work together to help you make more money and have more impact in your career. No longer do I want to see high achieving professional women who have skills, who have credentials, who have degrees, who have knowledge to be steadily stuck in roles that are underpaying them and overworking them. To be stuck in roles that they know are no longer serving them. To be stuck in roles that they know they desire when they desire more. You cannot stay where you are and build wealth. You cannot stay where you are and save for the down payment. You cannot stay where you are and continue to stay stuck in this role that you know is no longer serving you. There's a $47,000 salary increase on the other side of the application to the Mentor Me Accelerator program for you. But only when you apply, right? Only when you make the decision that I'm going to invest in myself. I'm not going to stay stuck in this job that I know I'm unhappy in. I'm not going to stay stuck with this employer that keep promising me a raise but never giving it to me. I'm not going to stay stuck in an industry that I know doesn't see my expertise. I'm actually going to invest in myself. I'm going to prioritize myself, and I'm going to get the help that I need to make more money and have more impact in my career. And that's a decision. That's a decision, but that's a decision that's available to you right now. And the only belief that you need to make the decision is that I can use what I have to get what I want. And that was true for Shauna, and that's true of all of my mentees, and I know that that's true for you. right? I know it's true for you. I know that you can use what you have to get what you want. A lot of people think, oh, to get into project management, you got to have a project manager certification. And oh, to get into IT, you got to know coding and you got to know that. You don't need to know any of that. What you need to know is I can use what I have to get what I want. And then the rest is my job. All right? The rest is my job. The rest is my job. The rest is my job to position you as an expert. The rest is my job to help you advance your career in the ways that you desire. The rest is my job to help you articulate and package your expertise so that we can put it on the marketplace and help you identify roles that are aligned with that skill set. The rest is my job, but I need you to take the first step in raising your hand and saying, Ashley, I want to use what I have. I want to use what I don't want to have to get another degree. I don't want to have to get another credential. I don't want to have to get another certificate. I just want you to teach me how to use what I already have, what I already know, what I'm already good at, right? And once you decide, I'm going to get the help, I'm going to invest in myself, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines. Once you make that decision, then I'm excited to walk alongside you to help you make more money and have more impact in your career. That's exactly what I did for my mentee Shauna and her $47,000 salary increase. That's what I did for my mentee Christina, who just, I think, 2 weeks ago secured a $47,500 salary increase. And that's what I've done for all of my mentees who secured major raises, bonus, and salary increases. I've helped them see their value and articulate that value in the marketplace to have massive impact in their salary. And that impact isn't just money in the bank. You know, when you swipe through the post that I posted just about Shauna, you can see her confidence is through the roof. Her belief in herself, her belief in her own skill set, her belief in her ability to advance her career in the way she wants to. It's not, of course, I love to see my mentees securing those $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 salary increases. And at the same time, I'd love to see women more confident in their ability to advance, in their ability to position themselves as high-level leaders, and in their ability to make massive money moves because it's available to them. And it's available to you too. There's nothing about you that won't allow you to have the same impact that Shauna had, to have the same impact that Christina had, to have the same impact that any of my mentees have. You're not lacking anything except the decision to apply to get the help that you need. I invite you to take immediate action. Do not delay and get the help that you need so that you can see massive impact in your career and you can transition from this, woe is me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to advance my career to actually having strategies that are going to drive impact. You can apply on my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. Because your salary is worth less than it was 5 years ago. But you have so much more value. You have so much more expertise. You have so much more knowledge than you had 5 years ago. So now it's time to match your expertise and your skill set and your knowledge that you have today to a salary that matches that skill set, that value, that expertise. You can no longer afford to stay stuck in a role that is paying you 5 years ago salary, especially with this inflation rate. You need to be working for an employer who sees your value, who sees your expertise, and can pay you well for that expertise. That's what Shauna did in her transition from education to IT, and I want to invite you into the same. You simply cannot afford to stay stuck in a role that is paying you beneath your value. Because the truth is that the value of the dollar is dropping every single day. But your value is increasing. You're more knowledgeable. You're more skilled. You have more credentials. You have more skill sets. You've trained more people. You've learned new things. And still you're making yesteryear's salary? How? Why? If you're not positioning yourself for a higher level of leadership, if you're not positioning yourself for a higher level salary, if you keep applying for low-level roles and hoping that you get the job, you are literally lighting money on fire. You might as well throw it in a barrel and put a s'more on top of it. You cannot afford to waste money. You have goals tied to moving, tied to taking the long vacation, tied to getting, a personal trainer, tied to hiring somebody to clean out the toilets twice a month. You have goals. There are things that you desire to do, but your money isn't going as far as it used to. And that's not because of anything you're doing. It's not because you're not good at your job. It's not because you're not an expert. It's not because you're not valuable. It's because you're positioned in the wrong role. You're not positioned in a role that sees your value and that will pay you for that expertise. And so it's now time to invest in yourself and get the help that you need to make more money and have more impact and drive massive money moves. Because that's what my mentees are doing. That is what they are doing. And that $47,000 salary increase that Shauna just secured is not a fluke. It's not a happenstance. It's not one in a million. I'm helping professional women secure $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 salary increases every single week. And you can scroll through my page to see the results. They are there. The success strategies button on my website, the receipts are there. And that's available for you too. Those women don't have anything that you don't have. The only thing that's different between them and you is that they've made a decision to get the help that they need. And you haven't yet made that decision. But I invite you to make it today. Go to my website at mentor-me.org and apply for the Mentor Me Accelerator program. When you apply, you'll have the opportunity to schedule an appointment with me so we can talk more about your skill set. I want to understand what's working well in your career, what's not working so well, and how I can best serve you to help you secure the kind of salary increase that is a contemporary strategy or a contemporary salary. That's a contemporary 2021, 2022, 2023 salary. If you're still making $2,016, that's a problem. And inflation is only going to keep worsening, as Heather described. I think inflation right now is above 6%. It's only going to get worse. So you need to make the money now, right? You can't afford to stay in a role where you're making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. That's the money that they offered you in 2016. We're 5 years later. This is a whole new economy. And you're making yesteryear economy money, no more. Your salary is worth less than it was 5 years ago. And you can't afford that. It's time to invest in yourself. And as a mentor, I'm here to serve you, to help you advance your career and take it to the next level. I invite you to apply to the accelerator today, right on my website at mentor-me.org. Take immediate action, because applications for the accelerator close this week on Friday. I am so looking forward to serving you. I'm so looking forward to serving as your mentor and helping you see these massive salary increases that my mentees are seeing, right? That post that I posted about Shauna today and that $47,000 salary increase, that's not a fluke. That's not a one-time thing. That's not something special about Shauna. Shauna is amazing. She's special. But she was able to do that leveraging Mentor Me strategies. Those strategies are available for you too. And I invite you to get the help that you need and apply today. I'm so looking forward to serving you. Thanks so much for watching. Talk soon. I look forward to seeing your application. Bye.